So the last step is kind of going to depend on what printer you have. I have the HP DeskJet 2640. I also have the HP Smart app for printing, and I have HP Instant Ink. I get to print a certain amount of pages a month. It automatically tracks my ink, and it mails new ink as I'm getting low, so I don't have to worry about it. I think I have 100 pages a month for $4 a month. I haven't printed much. I might be printing more now, but it works fine for what I create. I mainly print sewing patterns, but now I'll be printing some of these as well. So everything's set up how I want it. It looks good. I'm going to click Share, PNG, and then my app shows up, Print with HP Smart. If you have an app downloaded, it should pick it up in the sharing area. Some printers might be finicky. If you feel like you need to export it, you can export it as, I think there's a PDF option. Yeah, just PDF, and then export like Acrobat, Adobe Reader, and print it however you feel like you need to print it. Oh, I hit save. So when I get to join this distracted. PNG, print with HP Smart. Mine automatically sets mine up inside the print margins as much as it can fit. If I adjust it, I can see that I have more room on my left and right than I do on the top and bottom for my print margins, and so I can't really scale it too much. But if I click Fit to Page, it fills it to the top to bottom first, so I don't have anything cut off. I do have a little bit of a print margin, white space, but it's not that bad. I mean, here's one I already printed, so you can see. I did this opposite. I did pink down here and blue down here, but looking at it, I don't care for it. But there's not much off. Click Done. I'm going to do a test print first to look at it to see how I like it. Like I said, I looked at this again. I didn't care for it this morning, and so I'm not going to use that as a notepad. So I'm only going to print one copy of this one to see how I like it in print. I'm printing on plain paper, not photo paper. These are notepads, they're for writing on, so plain paper is fine. Color option, color, print quality, best. And then I click print. And now this is the step for putting the notebooks together. The original video shows how they do it, but I'm going to show how I do it as well. There are multiple ways to do different things, so just whatever you find is best. I do have this paper cutter. I think I got it from Walmart for like $10, from their little craft sections, like where the Cameo and everything, all that is. Not Cameo, Cricut. It was, like I said, $10. I got it for one thing, but I haven't used it in a little while. But it's been perfect for this. If you get a paper cutter, do test cuts first, like print a page with straight lines on it and do test cuts. This one, I can see the track where the blade is gonna go, but lining it up kind of gets finicky, and so some of my first ones were not very straight. I didn't cut off the line or the guideline. I cut off too much sometimes, so do test cuts if you get a new paper cutter. You can use scissors. I can't cut it straight. I get wonky. So just play around with what you have first before you do your final cuts. And then, so I'm gonna line this up. I find it easier to cut the short edges first because I'm not cutting such a long edge. I have less risk of it going crooked. So I press down and slice. I also did edit my file. I realized after I printed it that I forgot to put my Pokeballs on there. I like the stacked Pokeballs that I drew, so I think those look good. You can clean these up, the edges later. You see I kind of missed that one a little bit. It's not too noticeable, but it's noticeable enough for me. We are going to glue these together. You're probably not going to see that top part much at all. So, and then I'm going to do one page at a time because I find if I do too many pages, it kind of pinches the paper and makes it look weird. So, or not cut it thoroughly. Shreds the edges instead of cutting the edges. So, I'm going to line this up on the second guideline. It's a little better. And the next one, paper. Always be careful with messing with blades. Blades are sharp, even though it's tucked into this thing. You just always want to be careful. So that's my tops and bottoms cut off. I try to stack it on the edge that I did not cut because paper should be straight. And then I kind of glance at my side red lines and my middle red lines to see if they're still lined up. My blade does not cut well going this way, so I always move it back up. Hold the paper, cut that piece. This is the fastest way I found to cut it. It's less risk of mistakes when cutting. I did the long ways on a couple of ones, and then I realized how much work I put on myself trying to get everything straight. And so I started doing this way, and it works so much better. So I'm going to paper a little shifted while I was moving it. Get back in line. Back up. So that's 4 sheets. I do have some cleanup to do. I'll do that in a little bit. That's 4 sheets per notepad, or I'm sorry, 5 sheets per notepad makes 4 each. That's 20 pages. So you have a 20-page notebook. I've already used one of these, but that's pretty decent size for the notepad. And like I said, these are simple little notepads you can use for quick notes, writing down, phone calls that you need to do, appointments, grocery lists real quick, things like that. So, okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is make the backing for the notepads. This is, I think it's called like chipboard or something. I don't have the packaging anymore. I think I ordered it off Amazon. Just some thick kind of cardboard. You can go to a craft store, you can go to Walmart and find the one that you want. It needs to have some stiffness to it. It is the back of a notepad. Standard notepads will have it. You can do it without, but if it's without, it's going to be flimsy. You don't have kind of a sturdy surface area to write on. So I recommend it. What I'm going to do is take one of my notes. I'm going to line it up corner to corner. It's better to do this way because you can get 4 out of 1 page or 1 sheet. If you do it the other way, it will only get you like 2, I think. So. You can just draw guidelines, like one corner to corner if you want. I want to make sure that it cuts properly. Bring it all the way. If you do any kind of scrapbooking, you can use, I should have drawn that other edge. You can use the excess that's off of this, different decorative pieces, things like that. So. I didn't realize how difficult it is to make a tutorial till you try to make one. But that's okay. So perfect is overrated and not necessary. So I'm going to put it in my paper cutter. If you feel like you need to cut this by hand, you can. I can't cut straight with scissors, so I'm not going to. Go this a little bit thicker. Go. I need to get a blade for this if I can. She's probably mad at me for all the ones I've cut. There we go. These should line up like the notebooks did. No, probably doesn't like the two. Yeah, I struggled a bit with that. There's two backings. I'm not too worried about these being perfect because I'm going to make some misfit notebooks. I printed quite a few pages to do a tutorial. I keep restarting, which is okay. But I'm not gonna waste those pages because they work fine for a notepad still. You can still write on them. They're just not how I wanted. I'm gonna restart. Even the ones that I just did because I forgot I didn't do the master ball on there either. So it will go into my misfit pages. No, you do not want to cut that, do you? I started for it. The cardboard got too big. And then I didn't want to catch on the blade. Good. There we go. So there's 4 backings ready for 4 notebooks. I've got 2 to make with the misfits, and then I will be making my official Sylvian one once I correct the file. Okay, so this is the steps from the tutorial video that I shared as well, but I'll just show it here. Full credit to the original video. This is my misfit notebook. Like you see, I've got all the different ones that I've reprinted multiple times. Didn't care for. I've changed Frank, my raccoon drawing. I changed him the way he was facing to make it fit better. I cut off Espion's ear on some of these, so I didn't care for them. So this will be my misfit notebook, and as you can see, using the same file canvas that you set up for one of your notebooks, use it for all if you're going to make multiple. As you can see, I kept adjusting it, and when I kept remaking the tutorial, I made new canvases. And so some of my canvases and my notepads don't quite match up. Just not too noticeable, but this is a misfit notepad, so I'm not worried about it. I'm lining it up to the top. I'm pressing in the sides to keep them straight. You want this as flat as possible because you're going to be gluing it. And I have these binder clips. These are 3/4 inch. At Walmart, they were like just a few cents, I think it was. There's only 12 of them in there, so I recommend getting 2 packs because if you're making a lot, get 2 packs at least. And I'm going to clip as close to the top as possible without getting too close because we are gluing this, and you want to make sure you don't get the glue all over your binder clips too. So there is that. It's flat on top. Don't drag your finger too much on the paper edges. No paper cuts here. But this is flat. And always have extra paper clips because you're going to clip it on top as it's drying because the glue will make the paper kind of bend. This is basic copy paper. There's the TikTok user, I'm terrible at names right now, I'll link it. She uses multi-purpose paper. She bought it on sale and got a ton of it, she said, so she's just using that up. I bought a ton of copy paper, so I'm using mine up. The glue we're using is Mod Podge. She just says PVA glue, which basically is Mod Podge. This does dry clear. It's pretty thick for the most part, so it works fine for it. So I've got a regular, I'm not even sure what to call this, little foam brush. I got the edges pinned or clipped. You get a little bit on the brush. You don't want to do too much because if it gets too thick, it can kind of make the paper warp really bad. But you want it thick enough to coat all the edges. And then I'm just gonna go down and seal it. It can make the ink run, so also don't do too thick because of that. Then you'll start coloring your Mod Podge, and I don't think you want that because you want this clear. And I just tap it along the edges. And it looks like I got everything. As you can see, it's already kind of trying to warp a little bit. I'm trying to make sure I can't really see any separate pages. Because if it's not fully glued, it's not going to stick like a notebook. So, oops, see. I'm going to take another binder clip. I'm going to put it right in the center. Don't touch it to the glue, but pinch it kind of right on the edge. So it's not going to touch it, but it's going to hold it still. She uses paper in hers. I think because mine's just basic copy paper, it's not giving it an imprint. If it's a thicker paper weight, it's probably going to hold an imprint, so just be careful. I'm going to move these to the top and pinch it closed. And pinch it closed. Like I said, it's not touching the glue, but it is holding pages down. Hopefully keep that flat. Not warp too bad. And that is the notepad. This will dry and I will have a misfit pad for notes around the house, things like that. My kids decide they want to play with it. They've already all asked for one, so I gotta print theirs and then just let that dry. I think 15-20 minutes. It does dry clear, so once you can't really see the glue, the white part of the glue, it's pretty much dry. And then should end up looking like this. This is the first one I made. I can feel the glue on top, but you can't really see it. It's a little bit of a gloss to it, but it's a matte glue, so you're not going to see too much. And it holds pretty well. These are not sticky. If you want to stick them to something, you're going to need tape, washi tape, double-sided tape, whatever works for you. And that's it.